Hi everyone, welcome again to my channel Code with B. In the previous video, we learned how to create a query type. In this video, we will learn how to create a mutation type to create or update any resource on the GraphQL server. For defining mutation type, we need to create a root type mutation and it will be a GraphQL object type. As every type, it should have a name. Let's give it a name mutation type and we will also add description to this type, root type for mutation. Let's add fields to our type. Here we will again use the example of product. So we will be creating a product. For that, define a field create product and we will define its type product type. This type is a type of the object which will be written as a response. For creating the product, we would need to pass certain fields from the client. Those we will pass using the argument. Let's add name, which will have a type GraphQL string. Similarly, we will add brand, category, and the price. Price will have a type GraphQL float. We won't pass anything for the ID because we will generate the ID on the server itself. In the resolve method, the first task which we have is to generate the ID for the product. We will use the size of the existing list and add one more to that. That will be our ID for now. For creating the new product, we will use this ID and all other parameters from the argument such as name, brand, category and price. Let's add this newly created product to the existing products list. And finally, we will return the new product from the resolve method. If you run the mutation now, for that we need a mutation and we will use the create product field. This field takes few parameters such as ID, name, brand and category. So we will provide that. And for the return type, it has a product type. So we will take ID and name from the product type. If you run the mutation, it returns the ID and name of the newly created product. In this mutation, we passed on name, brand, category, and price as an argument. It could be a tedious job for a client to pass all these properties. So instead, we can use a object. So we will take an input object because we are creating the product and we have the product type. So first intuition could be to use a product type. So let's try to add a product type with input. We will replace the args with an object and use input as one of its property. Now if we look at server error, it says the type of mutation type create product must be input type but got product type. So there is a difference between the input type and the object type because of their nature. Both the type have different validation rules. Also, this type contains different data. That's why GraphQL has a different type for input and output. For the input type, GraphQL has a GraphQL input object type. Let's create the input type for product. It would be more or less same as the type of the product output type, but with the change of the type. So this time it's the GraphQL input object type. We will change the name to product input and also update the description. Now we will use this type in our field. So we will change the type to product input type. As we have defined the type for the input, so we need not to pass the properties in the argument. It will be in the input object. So we will just use the input object. Product input type does not have the ID field. So we will generate the ID on the server. For generating the ID, we will just make use of the product's length and add one to that. So it's our ID. And we will update the input object by assigning the ID to the existing object. Let's run the server again and now we will pass the input object. So it works. If you think about the client, so most of the time client would be using a variable in its query or the mutation. So GraphQL has provided support for the variable. GraphQL dev tool also have provided the support for variables, so you can use the variable section to apply the variables. For using the variable in query or mutation, we can provide the list of variable with the type. So here we have created a variable product and we will define its type. In this case, we are using the product input type, so we will give the name of the product input type. And now instead of using the object with the input, we will use this variable. So we have used product variable here, and we can define this variable in the variable section of the dev tool. So we have product and we will define all the fields of this product. Because it's a product input type, it shows all the list of attributes available for this product. So you can use that, and if we run this query, so it returns the result. That will be all for today. In the next video, we will look at authentication. Till then, happy coding!